Hi, it's Cory, and today we're going to be talking about lead sheets and how you can use them better so that it can help you with your playing. If you aren't familiar, the term lead sheets refers to what you can see on the screen where you see the lyrics of a song and then the chords are placed above the word where that chord falls in the song. The goal of them is basically, assuming that you already know the melody, it's just providing you with the different chords so you can easily play through. I would say probably like 95% of most people read from lead sheets, especially for ukulele, just because it's not quite as common to like be reading the melody line directly. I'm very passionate about making good lead sheets for you guys because I've often looked up lead sheets online, and to be honest, a lot of the online lead sheet things, like while they might be free, a lot of times they're not accurate and you'll be playing chords that are completely wrong. And even sometimes in other tutorials online or on YouTube here, people will have like playthroughs and they'll be telling you to play certain chords with different songs. And just because a chord sounds correct doesn't mean it is actually the chord. And a lot of times I'll like actually look directly from the sheet music that was written by like the original composer to make sure the chords are accurate. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, yeah, duh, I already know what lead sheets are, don't worry, I have some tips for you that can make using your lead sheets a lot more effective. And these are things that I not only recommend to my students, but I also do myself when it comes time to filming tutorials and things like that, because they're just really good tricks and they're a way for you to prep your music so that you can use it more effectively. The first thing that I'm going to recommend that you do with your lead sheets is print them off. If you're a big like iPad user and you have all your lead sheets saved and downloaded into a file or something, that's pretty normal. I also do that. But paper, there's something tactile about it. Plus you can always write in little notes as needed. So I always print off my lead sheets. This is an example of a lead sheet that I made for Rhiannon. If you're interested in any of the lead sheets from my tutorials, I have a huge backlog and something over like 110 different song tutorials and stuff. All of those lead sheets are available on my Patreon to my Patreon community. So if you're interested in like really accurate, correct lead sheets, you're more than welcome to go check it out and see if you're interested in joining the community. That's just one of the benefits that they have access to. This is one for Rhiannon. I just printed it off. I already made some like markings on it and stuff, but I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do with this lead sheet to make it more effective for me. So looking at this particular lead sheet, I can see that there's C major, F major, and A minor chords here. So the first thing I normally do, especially if I was a beginner or what I'd recommend to my students, is I would assign each of those chords a color. Now, in music education, we actually have a color coding system for different pitches and chords. A C chord is red, a D chord is orange, an E chord is yellow, an F chord is a light green, a G chord is a dark green, and then an A chord is a blue, sometimes like a purplish blue, and then B is like a magenta / purple color, and then you come back to C. Now I understand there are major and minor versions of all those chords, and also there's their sharps and flat options, but typically that's kind of like where it relates to, and there are variations in the colors when you get to flats and sharps. We're not going to get into that today, but for this particular one, because I have a C major chord, an F major chord, and an A minor chord, I'm going to color code those accordingly. My favorite thing to color code with though are these. These are the Papermate Flare pens. Not only do they come in a bunch of different colors, I use these all the time for color coding because often if you can identify a color with a chord, it makes it a lot easier and quicker connection. The thing I would do is just go through on my lead sheet with these three colors, and I would either overline, like color over with the chord so I can see it and have a color coded version of my lead sheet, or I would circle my chords. I don't know if you can see this, but if you can, I went through and I overlined on my different chords and I circled the different chords on the colors. And so now I have not only a lead sheet that gives me all the information I need to play this song, but also I have a visual reminder. The reason why colors are really important is when you were like a little kid, you often associated things with their color without even realizing it. When we see patterns, it's easier to see patterns that are associated with color than they are just in black and white. So adding the color to the progression and to the song, you're able to see the patterns in the song. Like for instance, it's really easy to see that the only time I'm playing a C major chord is in the chorus section, because that's the only times I see red. Or it's really easy to just see like, oh, for this particular song, I'm just rotating between A minor and F major, because that's where I see a pattern of blue, green, blue, green. So that's one way that you can use that color coding system to help you out. Another way you can use the color coding system, or just colors in general, is actually with your strumming patterns as well. What I like to do is go through my songs and then I will use highlighters, and I use highlighters specifically for this because I like to highlight over the actual words, and I associate different colors of highlighters with a different strumming pattern. So for instance, if I'm starting out with just playing on the chord changes, I will highlight that one color. When I go into a strumming on the beat, I'll highlight it with another, and then when I go into a particular strumming pattern, I'll highlight it with a different color. That way I have that same color coded system and I don't have to remember what strumming pattern I'm supposed to be using. I can just see it on my paper. This is an example of a lead sheet I have for Zombie. Now, while I mislabeled the different strumming patterns at the top, you can hopefully see that I highlighted the different strumming patterns. So like I said, my first line, it is just a yellow highlight, because that opening line for Zombie that goes along with my tutorial, it's just played on the chord changes. And then for my verses, I have playing on the beat, and then for the chorus, I have the strumming pattern. So visually, it's really easy to see, oh, playing on the chord change, playing on the beat, and then playing on the strumming pattern. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, Cory, if you're a music teacher and you know all these things, why aren't you just like presenting this stuff already complete? The reason for that is the act of actually going through and highlighting or color coding your different chords and stuff, that's a really, really good way to practice. Not all practice has to be you using a ukulele. You can have mental practice where you're going through the words, you're going through the chords, you're seeing those patterns and you're making those mental connections, and that will end up helping you with your playing a ton. These were just a few quick tricks that you can apply really easily to your lead sheets. I am a huge advocate of printing out the lead sheets if you have access to that, just because it is really nice for writing notes on the fly. Also, then you can start creating a binder with all of your resources and all your ukulele lead sheets. That way you can just pull that out really quick if you ever want to have a jam, or if you ever want to look at the songs that you've already worked on. If you found this helpful, give it a like. Also, if you're not subscribed yet to my channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I come out with a ton of videos, at least one a week, but often two, and they're always really beginner friendly and meant to help you advance your ukulele playing. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.